Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I've got your gameplay for the F-1. This is a rank 6 battle rating 10.3 fighter for the Japanese air tech tree. This is a very capable fighter, and in some ways a multi-role fighter because it can actually carry quite a few bombs, but in this video I will be focusing purely in the air RB aspect of it, and more so just in dogfighting. Now this is a derivative, essentially. This is the upgraded version, if you will, of the T2, which was the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first supersonic plane in War Thunder, and or at least the fastest for a little while. And the F-1 is basically an improvement on that. It's got over 1,700 km/h top speed, an excellent rate of climb at over 130 meters per second, and a better than what it looks like turn time. So it says 33 seconds here, but I've experienced it being a bit better. And further, and finally, it does have AIM-9Ps, up to 4 of them, which are essentially AIM-9Js. They are very good missiles. Now that being said, let's see what we could do here in a few dogfights. I want to go over the strengths and weaknesses of this plane, and perhaps even some of the tactics that I used to succeed with it. Let's get into it. Okay, so now that we're kind of barreling towards the enemy here at very low altitudes, actually, you know what? I'm going to climb up high for this one because we are in a down tier, but being that we are getting close to the battle, let's go over some of the strengths and weaknesses. And of course, I'll start off with strengths. Now, with the F-1, it has a fantastic level of performance. It's not the fastest. I mean, for example, the F-104 there, which is an F-104A, mind you, and also a MiG-21 and all that, typically they will outpace you. Now, whether it's like an SPSK, for example, they might not be able to outperform you, but for the most part, you will be in the upper echelon of performers, though on the lower portion of that upper echelon. Now, secondly, it has a fantastic armament. The 4 AIM-9Ps, just wonderful. In my opinion, AIM-9s are much better than a lot of people give them credit for. They have the range that you might be looking for. They've got the still decent turning capabilities, not fantastic, and also a lot of the time they have pretty decent tracker heads that kind of see through flares, which is very nice. And it's just something that I feel like a lot of people, they go for the flashier R60s, which, mind you, I love me some R60s, but AIM-9s are, again, I mean, they are just very nice. I'm going to fire an AIM-9 at this F4C once I get a little closer, right there. So that should get me a kill, I'm hoping. Now, second, ooh, I should really put my air brakes on. It's easy to go a little too fast in this plane. Secondly, or thirdly, I guess, for another strength here, you have its excellent cannon. I really love the cannon on this plane. A lot of people might not, but it's very similar to American cannons, such as what you might find on an F-104 or even the F-4 Phantoms. Absolutely fantastic performer. Woo, Lord. Okay, and now I typically like to go over 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, because once you start getting beyond the initial strengths and weaknesses of a plane, you start getting more into review territory, which isn't a bad thing, don't mind you, but you start kind of getting into the nitty-gritty, which isn't really all too helpful for a lot of players. So let's get into some of the weaknesses here on this 3-kill match thus far. And that guy doesn't have any... Okay, start firing. Got a nice crit on him. 3 kills, 1 assist, none too bad. So let's go over some of the weaknesses. So even though it's got decent enough handling, in my opinion, it's got better handling, again, than the SAT card kind of shows. For example, I mean, the SAT card would have you believe that this is a very similar handler compared to like an F-11 or even an F-104, but it is much better. But the handling still is not fantastic on this plane. Now, for a second weakness, doesn't have countermeasures, which sucks. Absolutely is just not good. And third, its flaps are not all that powerful. But anyways, I got through all the strengths and weaknesses in this one match, so let's get into the next match, go over tactics. So with that match out of the way, let's go over some of the tactics that I would typically use when using this plane. Now, ultimately, it depends on if you are in a down tier or an up tier about what tactics you will use. Being that I am basically in a down tier here, I would typically use boom and zoom with this, and the reason being is because you can get real high up. You can typically outpace most enemies in a down tier, which means that you should be able to reach a higher altitude quicker, and there are not going to be as many radar-guided missiles, if any, flying your way at these altitudes, whereas typically in lower or in an up tier, you will want to kind of fly a little bit lower, maybe around 1,000 meters, 1,500 at most, because, of course, if you fly this high, you will get destroyed by Sparrows and whatever the Russians have, like R-24s. So it's just not a fun time. Now, that being said, being that I'm around 7,000 meters, I'll kind of cool it off, survey the battlefield, wait until enemies hopefully are below me. But I should be higher than pretty much everyone else right now. Maybe sans one or two allies or enemies, but for the majority of the fight, I should be at this point higher than almost everyone else. Now, okay, we have a Jaguar down there. Now, another actually strength of this I kind of forgot. It's got a phenomenal, or not phenomenal, but a really, really good roll rate. I'm on the best at this BR. I'm going to put my air brakes on because I cannot go all that fast. Otherwise, my wings will break. Hopefully, this guy doesn't see me. Launch a missile. Pull out of air brakes. Missile's probably not going to hit him. He's a little too far forward. Got him! Wow! Okay, nice. And that's what I mean by boom and zoom. You can boom and zoom pretty darn easily with this plane. I'm going to go after this F-100. He's going to probably be killed by the Yak. But if he isn't, prime target for me. Yep. So go right back up there in the sky. And another great thing about this altitude, especially when it comes to, down tiers, is that you don't really have to rely on your countermeasures as much at these altitudes, again, because there just are not going to be as many players at these altitudes for you to have to kind of worry about. So I'm going to go down here, go for this A4, then I'm going to switch back up, go for the F4D over there. If this A4, hopefully, I do not like this. Yeah, A4 players have a tendency to just love launching their thing. So that's another thing, like I said, you're just not going to have this phenomenal maneuverability that will allow you to just kind of do whatever you want there and just kind of go crazy. Got him. Maybe. I think I will. Yes, I will. Got 2 kills. 2 kills and at least 1 assist thus far. But now when it comes to a down, or to an up tier rather, you will typically want to, again, fly on the deck, kind of do the same things that I'm doing here, take out targets of opportunity. F4Ds are just so easy to take out. I mean, they have such low energy retention. Oh, it's just such a wonder. So anyways, let's go back down here. So what do I have, like 2 or 3 kills on my missiles thus far? I have a feeling that AV-8, I'm going to launch my missile on him because I think he's the last guy. Oh no, don't go for the A5, don't go for the A5. I hope he doesn't go for the A5. That missile better not kill my ally. But anywho, I'm going to just try to gun down this AV-8A. I mean, like I said, you can spray with this thing. So long as you're ahead of the enemy, you should be able to get yourself a nice assist. I still damaged him pretty severely. But anyways, long story short, in a down tier, like I said, boom and zoom. You should be able to get yourself some pretty nice kills like that. If you especially if you have the AIM-9Ps, you will do pretty well. Now, I'm going to have to fly back to base here, otherwise my plane will run out of ammo, or fuel, rather. So I'm going to do that now. I'm not even going to worry about getting that second kill. But boom and zoom from high altitudes, fly closer on the deck at low altitudes, pick out enemies of opportunity, especially those with lesser maneuverability, low energy states, and without countermeasures. Anyways, let's get into one last match and have a good time. Finally, I am in an up tier. This might not seem like something most people will say, but it gives me the opportunity to kind of show what this plane does in an up tier versus my last 2 matches, which were 3 kill, 1 assist matches in down tiers. Now, I'll just kind of go over 2, I guess, final strengths. 1 strength, 1 weakness that I didn't mention before. One is that I don't know if this is normal, but I've been in pretty much 70 or so % down tiers, which is really, really nice and aids in getting kills so much. But a final weakness is that when afterburners are going, this thing just consumes fuel. I mean, it is ridiculous. Like, worse than normal. So you know, typically, I really wish that you could, like, fill up with as much fuel as you want. I'd probably put 25 minutes of fuel in this if I could. But I feel like 30 is a little bit too much. You'll be kind of weighing it down a little bit more, especially in early dogfights. And 20 is a little bit low because it's not like low, but it's just where you have to kind of watch your fuel, because what'll happen is you'll run out of fuel kind of after an extended dogfight. So that said, let's kind of get a little bit closer to the battlefield here. I wanted to fly closer to the deck for this one, closer to the ground, because just again to kind of show what I meant, because if I'm flying too high there, I'm going to be pelted by those ridiculous missiles. So I've got a MiG-23 up there. I might go for this MiG-27 though. He's a little lower. Got an F-5 behind me, which I'm not really looking forward to. Okay, that was a bad launch. Bad launch. Gonna fire my cannons, miss them entirely. Go for this MiG-23 now. I probably have a plane behind me. Again, that's one of the biggest weaknesses of this plane, is simply the fact that I do not have countermeasures. I mean, seriously, that cannot be overstated. I do not know how that missed me. At all. Ooh, Lord. Woo! Somehow I'm still alive. I missed 2 missiles right there, and I'm still alive. Again, this is just going to be a more fun match here. I'm not trying to, like, come away with ridiculous kills, but if I get them, I get them. So I got 1 kill, 2 kills, and that should probably be about it. I got an F5 on me. Unless this guy, I'm going to air brake, hopefully he goes by me. He's air braking too. Ah, jeez. I was not expecting that. You know what, though? 2 kills, not too bad. Again, I was just kind of wanted to play this last match in an up tier to 1, so that you could actually play in an up tier. But 2, to kind of show that, yeah, I can still fight a little bit lower to the deck. Again, down tiers, I feel, are more common with this aircraft. So if you fly high and you just go down, and like when you're not facing radar guided missiles, you can really shine with this plane. But even flying on the deck in a lower or a higher BR match, you can still do quite well. You know, those AIM-9Ps are very, very capable, and they should be able to do the job, even if you only get 1 or 2 kills. But that being said, I fully did not expect that match to be over so much. I was actually going to just say one final thing, but either way, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Seriously, please like, comment, subscribe if you like this sort of content. If not, I totally understand. And let me know if there are any ways I could improve it. But, you know, seriously, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.